Welcome truth seekers. The Prince Harry and Meghan Markle bombshells keep coming. Buckle up for a fresh serving of word from the heart of the palace mess in Britain. Never has their credibility been on the line as it is in the latest royal saga surrounding Harry and his drama queen wife, Meghan. Ready for the popcorn fail of this scandal? But first, it would be an explosive opportunity to blow your mind, so hit subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you don't miss a detonating bit of this news. New reports indicate that King Charles is now thinking about taking away the royal titles of Harry and Meghan. This could be the end of the road for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Simply follow us for more on this drama as it evolves. The emerging storyline suggests that the royals are now unwilling to put up with such behavior from Harry and Meghan. Their recent media blitz and very personal interviews have not endeared them to the monarchy nor put the institution in a very favorable light. Internal palace sources claim that the previously cautious King Charles has had enough. Their titles could be stripped, a legitimate topic of conversation, given the backing from senior royals. This would be a landmark moment in the Harry and Meghan saga. Not only would that represent a rare act of defiance by the royals, it would set out in no uncertain terms the difference between those who serve by dint of their royal titles and those who use them for personal profit. Any removal of their titles would not only sever Harry and Meghan's last remaining royal links but would also send a strong signal about the values and conduct required by the monarchy. Given these new developments, one must wonder, how will Harry and Meghan react? This included more public feuds and interviews. Or pause to reflect and take into account everything they do and say in front of the public? Harry is said to be convinced that he was wrong to pull the plug on his royal connections at lightning speed and is said to be panicking trying to win back his faith in certain senior royals. One report has him in a frenzy, speaking urgently and emotionally as he pleads his case and wears his heart on his sleeve in an almost chaotic display of distress. The Duke of Despair was keen to talk to someone, and it turns out his first port of call was his own aunt, the formidable Princess Anne. The Yorks are a hoot. The self-centered behavior and self-destruction of a privileged life, and you'd think the Princess Royal would be well placed to appreciate just what that leads to. "Please, you have to talk to Papa," Harry cried desperately to Anne from his torment. The only thing this man could have provided for Meghan probably would have been photos of his chess set. #Meghan McCain, at Meghan McCain, February 19, 2021. He's doing this to get back at Meghan and me, talking about our Uncle Clarence. Meghan McCain, at Meghan McCain, February 19, 2021. I want him to see you and remember what this will do to my fragile family. Think of the person who traded his family name in order to be immortalized in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, famously groveling to one of the city's most adept power players to save face. It is unfathomable for an entire nation in disgrace and ridicule to now cast the most abject, pitiful play of poetic appeal for redemption after 12-odd years of continuous degradation and defamation of the monarchy. Unthinkable, and yet, it is being played out here, right before our eyes. Unmistakable irony in the end. Once a much-loved Z-lister of a prince, now a pitifully hapless and pleading figure yelling through the hallowed halls of royalty he was once keen to turn his back on. His pleas to Princess Anne show the deep-rooted connections that cut through the royal fold, even when they appear fractured, hanging by a thread. In asking for her help, Harry validates the very institution he has spent years condemning, and also inevitably validates his relevance to it, and its relevance to him. Harry's actions demonstrate the delicate nature of his connection with the royal family in this moment of vulnerability. Not just a tale of revolt and refusal but one of longing and belonging, a quest to reconcile his own dreams with the sobering demands of his bloodline. The plea to Princess Anne, a figure whose vigor and indomitable fortitude mold the sorrowful, broken-hearted tale of his life around her unwavering, steady stillness in the shadow of the crown. And so, with the ongoing drama still unfolding in front of our eyes, it is clear that the story of Harry and the monarchy is far from over. The emotions are complex, you're dealing with public judgment on a colossal scale, and private turmoil, but at the heart of it all is understanding that they are human, separated by a crown and nothing more. In the end, this scream for help, as pathetic as it may seem, quite literally represents the family and traditional ties that bind, as well as the line of where personal freedom ends and royal duty begins. The Princess Royal cut her nephew's complaints short in typical no-nonsense fashion, seemingly making it immediately clear he was dialing up the wrong branch of the family tree. Said sources contend that she quickly chimed in with a scathing comment that would make even the powerful Queen of Thorns blush. She reportedly whispered without a trace of sympathy, "Oh, get a grip, Harold, and stop this pathetic sham of crying. You see, the fact of the matter is that you got too high and mighty to stick it out with the program back when you decided to make a money-grubbing, fame-chasing mess of things all those years ago. You are now going to suffer by your acts of pride. You can't be a royal and scandalize your own family. So, it's one or the other now for your selfish reposting ways." This is a stark, brutal point made by one of the few hard realists left in the innermost part of the firm. It is the pernicious effect of Harry and Meghan's poisoned reputations in the upper echelons of the court. The royal family has clearly had enough of Harry and Meghan. Princess Anne, pictured at Westminster Abbey in London on Monday, was unequivocal in her response to the couple's latest antics for more traditional family members. Stepping away from royal duties to work in the media is considered breaking ranks. Such sentiments are reminiscent of remarks Anne made in the special, and to the point, hour-long show about the royal family earlier this year, in which she referenced the institution as the monarchy, rather than her family, a distinction that says much about Anne's no-nonsense understanding of the role and her commitment to duty that the Sussexes have seemed to shirk, but suggests criticism reflects views of how damaging Harry and Meghan's actions may have been to the royal image. In recent years, there have been reports of mounting tension between Harry and the wider royal family, and the spotlight has focused on him more than ever. The gulf between them only appears to be widening, due in part to the interviews Harry and the high-profile projects the couple has taken up. Anne's acerbic words are indicative of the expectations and duties that come with being a member of the royal family, protocols she felt Harry has chosen to ignore. Anne's no-nonsense stance also indicates the deep-seated annoyance of the family at this continued attack on their name and titles by the Sussexes for tens of millions of pounds. Her words represent the opinion that Harry and Meghan behave selfishly and in a way that insufficiently honors the record and traditions of the monarchy. Her incisiveness is a stark, even grating reminder to the general public when there is a royal protocol to handle comments with reserve, and she is the royal with more firmly tethered values than almost any of her relatives. It is a very clear message to Harry that you can't have your cake and eat it when it comes to both duties and privileges. You cannot shirk your responsibilities if you also want to keep the benefits that come with said responsibility. Image copyright PA Image caption Princess Anne's forthright but expressing stance may appeal to people who see the monarchy an institution that demands unwavering dedication and respect. In her view, Harry's behavior is a flagrant breaking of these rules of behavior, and she isn't hesitant about voicing it. The jury is out on the effect that her words may have on Harry and Meghan, but the Queen's daughter's retort serves to demonstrate just how staunchly she backs the monarchy and its continuing relevance. So save your cocky theatrics and accept your current situation. There are still people naive enough to buy your BS. Brutal but completely on point. Princess Real Talk could not have made her estranged cousin's stark plea for intervention appear as heart-wrenching as it was by flatly refusing to abide by it, as heart-wrenching as it was, but hers was only an uncomfortable statement of the truth of this fact and an inescapable reality both within and farther afield from the royal institution. The boat of keeping even a shred of protection of their alleged royalness had clearly sailed by a long, long time ago. They have flushed their credibility. Even though Harry may lie, this is just destabilizing treason that has taken away any family trust and believability. With their ongoing antics to draw attention to themselves and to the institution in which they never cease showing the utmost contempt, they have been degraded to little else but a butt of a joke, with the very notion of them being associated with the dignity of the crown now seeming an absurd one. Once the pets, they have now become pariahs and public relations disasters of the highest order, a 1,000-year-old monarchy suddenly facing an existential crisis of a wholly new scale. Its New Age racketeers, fleecing the royals for their own end while seeking to undermine them for their own selfish reasons. In the face of these brutal, but to avoid doubt, brutally truthful facts, what claim does a weakened figure like Harry have to hold on to his titles once and for all entitled them? He burned up his whole inheritance Sumion's age and his selfish ashes lay there. For centuries, the people of Great Britain have viewed their royals as part of a tradition, embodying a legacy of duty and an air of nobility that captures the admiration and respect of people worldwide. The couple have managed to not only tarnish this prestigious image forever, but they have brought an additional touch of sizzle and showbiz-style trash to a venerable institution they were once a part of. With their public spats, media appearances, and fractious interviews they have painted an image of a family at loggerheads, a far cry from the dignified and united image that the royal family has long sought to articulate. They also had real-world consequences of their behavior. The trust and respect once automatically granted by their descent, has been all but obliterated and beyond restoration. The British people, as well as the entire international community, are tired of this never-ending opera. What this means is that the terrible hand of history that has weighed heavily on the monarchy like a giant head-hunter's axe since time began, now wants two of its own back. The monarchy needs to divest itself of two of its answer to the future. On one hand, Harry's titles and awards represented more than just his own personal achievements but were also elements of a legacy he decided to walk away from. The roles and responsibilities linked with these titles are not just ceremonial, but are integrally connected to the monarchy's identity and functioning. In avoiding these obligations, Harry has de facto abdicated his right to the benefits therein. That he has become an emblem of scandal and treachery is a painful evolution of events for the man once known as an affable prince. What comes next for Harry and Meghan is uncertain, but one thing is definite: their story has irreversibly rewritten the story of the British royal family. The monarchy will soldier on, as it has done for centuries, but the Harry-Meghan chapter will remain a warning of what might have been, and a story about what happens when personal ambition trumps duty. Harry and Meghan's story is, therefore, a multifaceted tale, one that ends with hopes, disappointments, and ultimately sadness. For us, it is everyone's wake-up call as to the tightrope the royal family walks in the world of today, as it must honor their tradition while understanding the tides of times, but above all it shows the humanity of this trillion-dollar family. But Harry and Meghan's deviation from this fragile equilibrium has long-term effects that will sort of reverberate down the generations. And now he has the gall to shed tears at the very notion of having to return those long-overdue threads to the men who sacrificed everything to put food on his table, clothes on his back and to protect this great country, a concept that goes back hundreds of years before any of us were ever born. Harry's self-preservation tantrum, about losing these symbolic titles, by this point smells of self-proportion more pathetic than even remotely angst over starling his children of inheritances or heritage. It the fear to end all fears, the fear of an irredeemable scab of a grifter running out of weaponized social capital, finally of being caught out quite so very naked as the fame-hungry chancer, the fame-hungry scrounger he has always been underneath, instead of still, quite pathetically, trying to play at that transparent charade of working-class anti-royal he desperately clings to. I mean, honestly, who, in 2021, could possibly look at what Harry has spent the past few years doing and come away from it with anything other than fame-chasing conmen uses the cultural institution he threw under the bus for 30 pieces of silver as prop on the brain? Taking the offense, one disgusting televised smear after another, vulnerable to his family and clean its good faith. Pulling out every race card in the book to keep his and his wife's considerable hubris from being questioned or criticized in any shape or form. Literally shameless and indefensible. Now, compare that to the severe disciplinary actions being contemplated by King Charles, merely stripping the drama queen of this utterly worthless duke title. That's all. There are no beheadings or imprisonments or Oppenheimer dramas of excess cruelty present. An institutional reminder that you can't violate your vows and defile the crown millions of times over, then continue to impiously cash in on its good name and legacy ad nauseam. In doing so, Harry has not just betrayed his own family but the many thousands of people who count the royal family as a rock of stability and continuity. In prioritizing his own narrative above the common honor and duty of his lineage, he has shown a stunning lack of awareness of what it means to hold those titles. This goes beyond a name, it is about being shown respect and dignity and is about the survival of the royal institution. What is more, his embarrassing public tantrums and desperate cry for attention have continued to sully his reputation. He and his station have chosen to take the sensational route, in lieu of what one would expect of a man of his stature. All this has done is destroy the confidence and admiration of the man by the general public, a man who is more interested in self-promotion than in preserving the values and traditions of his community. From this perspective on the crisis, King Charles's possible impending stripping of Harry's duke can be compared to an inevitable emergency measure in order to save the fallen monarchy. A reality check to say to ourselves that, titles and privileges have iterable responsibilities, they have to be acquired responsibly, maintained responsibly. Harry has effectively ignored these principles and thus should be subject to its consequences. In short, stripping Harry of his title is not about being cruel, it is reclaiming the values and standards by which the royals must abide. It's the message that ultimately, no one is bigger than the tenets of duty, honor, and respect, regardless of their station. Now is a crucial time not just for Harry, but for the monarchy at large. The family can only uphold all that the institution has stood for over centuries. It is a transaction, give and take, dignity and duty. Into this breach, then, steps King Charles, and equally, Princess Anne, who may yet prove him steel-spined enough in time of need, in their service of the one goal most crucial to the monarchy, securing its survival long enough that even the eager little vipers currently orbiting might have a shot at it after their private backers have been disposed of. Their refusal to let Lily share in their rank displays a determination to save royal future, and only now may we understand that there are some genetic umbilical cords that must be cut to save a larger organism from being contaminated by this cancer. No more thousands of years of lineages tarnishing their ancestral legacy for the crappy brand ambassadorship of Harry and Meghan. Because their repeated misbehaviors and public gaffes have so tainted them that we can no longer ignore the stink. The whole list. Are they worthy of being hung side by side with the biggest disgraced pariahs ever of the monarchy? Maybe, but that ship sailed long ago in their relentless march of privilege and hubris, a march that has isolated them from the very establishment of which they were once the embodiment. The royal family has shown the utmost in admirable patience at this stage, only referring to the reminders of the old title Harry carries. They have been more than patient and understanding about this, but there comes a day when enough is enough. The actions of a few determined to tarnish the good reputation of the Kenyan monarchy cannot be allowed to continue impeaching the monarchy good name. Under the circumstances, it seems a sound judgment call to distance the royal family from the self-serving antics of Harry and Meghan. Then by all means, let this incident serve as a sturdy lesson to everyone that the monarchy will not in any way allow rowdy actions that will put its structure and integrity into jeopardy. According to a prickly few, it is the reluctant retreat of a protective monarch stripping herself of the accoutrements that protect both her and the dignity of royalty itself. Well, name your thoughts on this. Comment your thoughts and let me know. What are your thoughts on the monarchy? Do you think I should have reacted in a different way? Stay woke, but with that being said, remember to always tune to our YouTube channel for more jaw-dropping stories and scandalous leaks. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update with the world of the royal family. Thank you for your continued support, and as always, be sure to visit Motor One. Thanks for watching and remember we are the home of all things royal. Bye for now.